right, guys. So welcome to People of Jiu Jitsu podcast number 9. We're here with my all-time friends, Nelson Puentes and his beautiful wife, Hillary Witt.
Oh.
So I'll give a little intro as usual. I'll try to prep like a story for people to understand who these amazing people are. So Nelson Puentes, you started training Jiu-Jitsu in 2007 in New Jersey, originally just to get into shape. Fast forward nearly 2 decades, and it turns out that Jiu-Jitsu has shaped every aspect of your adult life, from your personal growth and friendship to your career and family. In 2012, you and Hillary co-founded Inverted Gear, which is your amazing Jiu-Jitsu company, a clothing company, starting with the one gi and a panda logo in your mom's basement. It's since grown into a globally recognized brand with loyal community. Today, you also run an academy in Pennsylvania and traveling to teach seminars around the world. You're still active competitor, especially in the Masters division, and passionate about ecological coaching, teaching through play, constraints, and problem solving rather than role drilling. You love helping people level up and enjoy the process, whether they're hobbyists or high-level athletes. I love the last part especially. Leveling up is so important for us, for anybody. Hillary, all known as Panda Mastermind. You started training Jiu-Jitsu in 2005, back when women on the mat were still a rarity. Over the past 20 years, you've seen and lived the growth of women's Jiu-Jitsu firsthand, from having no training partners to now seeing thriving women teams, world-class athletes, and empowered beginners in every room. You co-founded Inverted Gear with Nelson. You designed nearly all of your products since day one. You handle the creative side of the business and big part of the logistics that keep you guys moving. At your academy, you coach across your entire curriculum and also lead the women program, helping to build a supportive space for women to grow through Jiu-Jitsu. You're also involved in coaching kids, organizing community events, and keeping everything running smoothly behind the scenes. Your focus has always been on building inclusive environments where people can train, learn, and connect. So we're done with that part.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds good, right?
Sounds good.
Nelson didn't want to know that. So there's really no first question. I think everybody would love to know how you guys got into Jiu-Jitsu, both of you, because it seems like Hillary started a little bit before you, Nelson, right?
She likes to remind me of that.
It's funny actually thinking about how, because we didn't meet until 2012, how wondering like how many tournaments we might have like crossed paths but didn't know each other yet. So yeah, I don't know. I came up, I started on the East Coast. I started with Fabio and had moved out west to San Diego and had done a lot of training through Brown Belt. And then when I moved back is when I met Nelson. So
Nelson, where did you start?
I started in 2007. One of my friends I wrestled with in high school was like, hey, we should give this thing a try. And then, like typical 20-year-olds, we didn't do anything about it for like a few months. And then he just calls me one day. It's like, hey, there's a jiu-jitsu tournament next month. We should sign up. So I signed up for a Grapplers Quest before ever taking a jiu-jitsu class. So we signed up for Grapplers Quest and then figured out where to train. And just never looked back.
So one of your first comps were Grapplers Quest.
Yes. Right. I won Grapplers Quest every belt level except black belt. So they should bring it back so I can complete my side quest.
Yeah, me and Alberto Marchetti, when he was in a podcast, we talk about those times. Him being ref there. And
yeah, he was a head ref for a bit.
Yeah. There was another gentleman that kind of looked like him. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Tall guy, blondish hair. Sometimes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
But if you put Nelson's name with Grapplers Quest, there's a lot of things that's going to come up under you. I mean, he was highlighting a lot of this cards. And back then, that was like an event to see, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I tell my students is, like, a lot of them don't know what it even was, but I remember, like, 2007, 2008, white belt divisions, beginner divisions. I had 100 people. It was 100 people in my 180, 190 division.
Insanity. How did the bracket look? I mean,
It's just, yeah, like I had to remember, like I winning those things, man, you had to win what, 5-6 matches to win. So like, you really, there's so many tournaments now that you really don't see that at a local event where you're gonna have 100 people in your bracket. Because there's tournaments every weekend. But back then, I think I was very fortunate to had started in New Jersey and, like, being part of that East Coast movement, because we had Grapplers Quest, we had the Nagas. We were the New York Open was the first IBJJF tournament. It was the first Open, right? There was nothing before that. The Nogi Pants was the first IBJJF tournament back in the Northeast of the United States. And then they did the New York, and then Boston came after.
we've seen a lot of talent come through New York for Pan Nogi.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then the other thing too is a lot of those East Coast competitors that came up on the Grapplers Quest circuit were kind of big part of that early American, movement of competitors. So all the Lord Irving guys, JT, Jimmy Harvison, man, Dan Simler, all those guys from back in the day
I competed against them. Yeah, it was good people. We did Tap Cancer Out, and he wore this beautiful pink gi.
Yes, he does. He does love his pinkies.
Yeah.
And then the Russian guys like Rustam Shisev, Aussie, who has a giant YouTube channel now. All those K Dojo guys, right?
K Dojo, yeah. We'll get back to K Dojo guys. I want to talk to you about that. But so you started a few years apart, both in the same art, and tell us you guys getting together. I mean, how did you met each other? Hillary, you mentioned, right?
Grapplers Quest.
Yeah.
For Grapplers Quest, for me, it actually was my ticket home, when I lived in California, because I would compete, I would ref, I would do brackets, I would kind of do it all for that tournament. And I would compete a lot between East Coast and West Coast. And yeah, it happened to be when I just moved home, and I still was on the roster to ref at Asbury Park is where I met Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, I think Tarsis was visiting. He was a Brazilian. Pretty sure he was Tarsis was here for a week. So I was coming up every, I think I was here in Manhattan every week. I think Sinistro was at the gym. So I was training with Tarsis and Sinistro every day. And I think I got a few privates with Tarsis. And then Friday I was getting ready to leave. And I think I was here for the Friday night class. And then Fabio goes see you tomorrow, porra. And I was like, what? I was Grapplers Quest. I was hey, I didn't sign up yet.
I signed you up.
Yeah. I'm pretty beat up. Tarsis and Sinistro have been kicking my ass all week. I don't know if I want to compete. And then it's oh, you're going. Fabio's man, you're in good shape. You got good training all week. Just go compete. I'm gonna be there. I'll coach you. And I was okay. I really didn't want to go. So I had to get up early in the morning, go to South Jersey, and then signed up for everything I could. So I did my no-gi bracket, the absolute. I did my brown belt gi. I did the brown belt absolute in the gi, and I had a really good day. I remember I won my no-gi division. I beat Tom DeBlas in the finals. I was I beat a black belt as a brown belt. It was a huge deal for me. I took second in the absolute, I think. I don't remember. They were second. I made it pretty far into the absolute bracket. I won my brown belt division. I won the brown belt absolute. So I was oh man, I was oh, I'm doing pretty good right now. So confidence was an all-time high. So I saw this cute ref at the end of the day, and I was okay, if you don't ask the girl out today, you're never gonna do it. So I walk up to her. I was hey, in between matches.
Have you watched my matches?
No, I was just hey, where do you train? And then she's oh, I just moved back. I used to train with Fabio before. I was I train with Fabio. He's you know Fabio?
We connected. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I remember that day too. I remember getting up, because I drove from Pennsylvania. I had to get up at 4 a.m. Wasn't even sure I was going to go. I remember I don't even know if I like Jiu Jitsu anymore. I was kind of in a weird spot in my life, just moving back home and not sure what was going to happen with work or jujitsu or anything. And it was one of those days like where it was a long day reffing. I didn't even compete that day, but I was making a lot of connections that, especially like through jujitsu, like people I haven't seen in a long time. And it was nice to kind of feel home again. And then meeting somebody new, meeting his friends, just like,
Yeah.
it was a good
It's a
day.
good feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you guys talk about Grapplers Quest. So for those that don't know, Nelson fought this monster Russian guy, aka the bear, Rustam Chiseyev.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I mean, I think so. You've talked about it on various podcast forums, but if you guys never seen Nelson versus Rustam Chiseyev, I think it's one of the nastiest, whatever it is, knee slash. I mean, there's so many things going on there. One guy is passing, the other one, Nelson from the bottom catches Rustam and just extremely weird submission.
Yeah, it was almost like a frontal like calf crank kind of situation, and then Rustam just let his leg rotate, so it looks like his knee is gonna dislocate, but he just and then he one tap to it, and then I'm trying to his leg is strapped and I have like double underhook, so I'm trying to sweep him from the position, and he just will not give up points.
Yeah.
So I try to wrestle up, and then he just counter throws me so hard. So I joke around that he threw me so hard that he changed my personality. It's been since that match, probably 15 years.
Yeah.
I never been thrown so hard since.
Well, what kind of throw was it?
He
You guys stood up again? I got to rewatch.
I had like a body lock, and then he just went like double overs, and then he just threw his hip in and just launched me. And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, Rustam was also like in amazing. I mean, I'm sure he's still in great shape. Everybody that trained or used to train that K tribe, they get pushed hard. But he was like this phenom that, and he would go shirtless, lots of body hair.
He would just put the pace on people. He never got tired, and then he would just wrestle and wrestle and wrestle. And then, like, especially like at the beginning when he first started competing, he didn't really do that many submissions. He just kind of like, you could not score on him. And then the moment you made a mistake, he would like take you down and like, jump over your guard and then just like pin you and then just put you in a headlock or something and you squeeze until you tapped. I know he was like a very high level wrestler back home before he moved here. So I don't know. He he had like a, like if you competed in the East Coast during those years, you saw him. Like every time there was a tournament, like he was there. He was doing his weight class, he was doing the absolute, and then he just given just this like local black belts just fits because it's like, is this like anti-jiu-jitsu style of like, okay, like what are you doing down there? Come up and wrestle me. Like, he would not let you score on him.
Love it. So early days of Inverted Gear, how did you guys came up with the name, idea behind it?
Well, Nelson already had the company when I came on board. I think he started it in February.
Yeah.
And I met him in December.
Yes.
So he already had the brand.
I think
he already had his name with the panda before the brand.
Yeah, so I think we were like a batch of geese in by the time you came on board.
I remember you gave me a gi actually because I had already given mine all away.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of this brand? Here, try this.
It's mine.
Oh, okay. Good incentive to start again.
Yeah, so I was teaching in New Jersey, and then I started training with Kevin Sheridan, who at the time was like a Fabio Clemente brown belt.
Yeah.
Right, and then I believe I was a purple belt, and Kevin he was like a busy guy, had his own company. So he had me teach a few classes a week at the tiny school we had in New Jersey. So we're like Alliance, New Jersey. And somebody came up, Mike Gillian came up. He had a school 2 blocks from my parents' house in North Plainfield. So like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away from Kevin. Had a school. It was like a MMA school. And then he was affiliated under somebody else. And then he really wanted to be affiliated under Alliance. So he went and asked Kevin, he's like, hey, I have an MMA school in North Plainfield. I'm looking for a jiu-jitsu instructor. I really like what Alliance is doing. They're winning the world championships. We would like to be part of a bigger team. Would you be interested in working with me? And then Kevin is like, man, I have a company. I barely have enough time to be here. But talk to Nelson. Like, he lives in that town. I'm sure he'd be happy to work with you. So he kind of like gave me the blessing to teach somewhere else as a purple belt. So I became like this like instructor. Like, you know, I was running the program on my own as I was like 24, 25. And I was a purple belt. I was like maybe at this point 3-4 years into Jiu Jitsu. And after we had the gym for a while, we all wear our Alliance patches. And then our guys wanted, like, you know, something to identify us. Like, you know, Fabio had the square guy, Cobrinha had the Cobra. Like, they wanted, like, what's our team logo, right? So they, one of my guys was like a graphic designer. And then we're like messing around with like panda guard, like sitting up and like rubbing up your legs and arms around somebody's legs. And they say, oh, we should have a panda logo. I think that'd be funny. And then we found like a picture of like a panda upside down. We're like, oh, Jiu-Jitsu panda. It's like, you know, panda's going inverted. So we made a t-shirt with this like very basic upside down panda. We started wearing to tournaments, and then people kept coming up to me and say, hey, where you get that t-shirt? Like, that's really cool. That panda's inverted. Can I buy a t-shirt? And I was like, it has like my name on it. It says like Nelson Puentes Jiu-Jitsu. It's like, yeah, but the panda's really cool. Can I buy a t-shirt? So it just happened a few times. I was like, maybe I have a business here. And then one of my students asked me, he said, hey, can we get gis with the panda on them? I think that'd be really cool. And I think I had 50 adult students at the time. So I was like, I don't think I don't think a factory is going to make a batch that small. And I don't think every single person is going to buy a gi. So I got to take Nelson Puentes out, make it its own brand, and then playing around with ideas, like, oh, Berimbolo brand, upside down panda, inverted gear, right? So landed on inverted gear, contacted 10 factories, 5 got back to me. One of them stood out, the quality, and then we're still using the same factory today. And I ordered 100 gis, and then I had stopped going to school. I was like about to graduate college. I was like, I believe I'm 18 credits away from a degree, if I remember correctly. And I had taken a year off to save money to go back and pay off my last year of school. So instead of going back to school, I took all that money and I bought kimonos with a funny upside down panda. My mom still has not forgiven me that I did not graduate college. And it worked out, you know, like we sold like the first batch of gis, sold 100 gis, and we ordered 125, then sold 125, then we ordered 150, sold 150, then we ordered 200, then we ordered 250. And after 250, we couldn't fit all the gis in my mom's basement. So we had to find a warehouse. And
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, yeah. And then, like, you know, just figuring stuff out as we went along. And we've been doing that, just figuring stuff out as it came along for the last 13 years.
What are some of the biggest challenges running the business like that? And I know in the beginning it was probably just 2 of you, maybe another person, like you mentioned, graphic designer. And over the years, business has grown. But what are some of the challenges, especially in the beginning stages?
Like, I had no idea what an import-export business looked like, right? So I remember like putting out, like, I was pretty good with website design, and I, like, you know, understood computers and the internet well enough that we went to Shopify fairly early, but there was something else before that. I don't even remember what platform we were on. But, like, you know, creating the original website, putting the gis on for pre-sale. And I remember, like, the first person that bought a gi was from New Zealand. And I had no idea how to ship something internationally, right? So I was like, what is this? And then I remember the gis landing in New York, like they landed at JFK. And then, like, somebody calls me from, like, the shipping company. He's like, hey, your shipment has landed. I need did you file the paperwork? And I was like, paperwork? And then he's like, yeah, like, you know, when you have a shipment coming in, you have to file your customs clearance. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I was just like, they're like, you're going to get fined. You need to file this now. I was like, I have no idea what you're saying to me. And then the guy goes like, I was like, I need this, I need this, I need that, so we can, file the paperwork. And we were able to do it. And then I remember they were like, oh, we have it. I can give it to you on Monday. It's gonna be like $300 if we ship it to you, or you can come pick it up. So I was like, it was like only a few boxes because it was only 100 geese. Mm-hmm. So I remember grabbing my mom's minivan and just like driving to like Queens to this like warehouse and picking up the geese, and then driving home, and then just like ripping boxes open, like my mom's.
With excitement,
and then just like ripping boxes open, and it's time to figure out. It's like, okay, like these are the bags I'm gonna use, and then the label printer wasn't working, and then just trying to get the computer and the label printer to sync up so we could get the labels on the stuff to get it out the door. Everything is so much easier now. In that respect, Shopify. We've been on Shopify for a long time now, and there's like so many things we had to do outside of Shopify now are integrated into the platform. Mm-hmm. Like you can ship directly from Shopify now. A lot of the marketing you can do directly from inside Shopify. A lot of the tracking. So I think it's a lot more user friendly than it used to be. So I believe it was a lot more daunting to do this when I started, but I was young and dumb enough not to know better and just forge ahead, and
Don't you feel it built a little bit of a character for you guys, just doing everything with your own hands? For
sure. I remember, when I met Hillary, and then I met her, and then we were like dating for a few weeks, and then the shipment came in, and then there was like 100 pre-orders I needed to go out. So I was like, hey, the shipment's coming in tomorrow. Like, what are you doing? Are you free?
I remember that. And I also remember, because it was around holidays and we knew people weren't going to get their stuff in time for Christmas presents, he was like, and graphic design, right? And he had me whip up like a free patch, like, hey, I'm sorry your package might be late, but here's a free patch. And that was like first in.
Was it a patch or a t-shirt? I don't remember.
I remember I did the patch first, the Panda Nation patch.
Okay.
And then I remember doing the t-shirt.
Something else we messed up.
Yeah, it was something else we messed up. But that's something I think that's been the hardest, and it's still always evolving, is just having a timeline in place, because you have to deal with the customs and the delays in shipping, and it's ever changing, especially now.
Yes. Current political climate.
Yeah, just how things like were changing during COVID even, and just all the delays and how the dynamics change and what customers want, and just always making sure we have stuff in stock and stuff is on time, and what are we going to do when it's not on time?
Yeah. I mean, we got through those like early years, and then I going back to that first shipment you helped me out with. I remember you coming in, you had like a sweatshirt on, you took your sweatshirt off, you just had a tank top, and then you were just like in the basement with all the guys, just like stuffing packages and throwing bags and slapping labels on, and just like, picking up heavy bags. And I was like, oh man, she's the one.
Oh my goodness.
She's the one.
I do remember the day I came in, like how there was like no room and how hot it was, but how much still kind of fun it was. Like I think I had already met Dave and Sarah before that, and so it was like a bunch of friends hanging out, but we're still trying to get this done, and there's certain ways to do things, and everyone had a task. And
yeah, I mean, I think Kivan might have been there. Mr. Kivan now, he's on UFC. He's on UFC VJJ now. He's a big time coach. At one point, he was a warehouse elf for Embroidered Year.
That's right. White belt Kivan.
How do you guys manage balancing the time between work, training? You have kids now.
Yeah, that's always changing too.
Yeah, it's always changing. I think the biggest thing is understanding is like, hey, like I really like this thing being Jiu Jitsu or spending time with our kids. And then just remembering, it's like, hey, the person I'm married to also really likes this thing. So just trying to be as fair as possible. So for a while, we had like when we first opened the academy, for example, we had like a very organized, it's like kind of you do a night class, and then you do a morning class the next day, and then I do a night class and I do a morning class. and then we just like alternate like that. Or even before we opened the academy, we were like training at other places. We were like, I think, alternate nights, or I think we're only training like twice a week. So we kind of like look at each other. It's like, hey, what days do you want to train this week? Okay, I want to train Wednesday and Friday. I was like, it's like this guy's in town this week. Kind of train Wednesday because my friend's gonna be here. Okay, like cool, we can do that, right? Like just being fair about it. And then same thing. Now that we have the school, is I teach a lot of the classes. Hillary teaches a lot of the classes, and then kind of just remind each other. It's like, hey, like it was like sometimes Hillary might not be super confident. Might not like the lesson plan we're on, or like she feels like I'm better at it. It's like, oh, why, that's not really my game. Can you teach this week, like every night? And I'm like, I want to see the kids too, So, and then like at the same time, like there's other weeks where like Hillary, I'm kind of like pushing Hillary out the door. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go see my parents. Can you something going on with my mom, something going on with my dad. Can you take care of the academy? And then she's the same thing. It's like, hey, I've been at the academy 3 nights this week. Can I see my kids? I want to put the kids to bed. So just always finding that balance of communicating, checking in with each other. It's like, hey, and then we have a standing day night. Hillary's parents graciously watch her kids every Friday night. And we get to train together on Friday nights. And we do 10 rounds at the academy. It's like 10 round Friday. So that's our day night. Every Friday night, we try to murder each other.
Well, that's the thing, too, is like, especially having the academy, and we were always like, one of us is here, one of us is home with the kids, especially when the kids were just babies.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's like we want to spend time with our kids, but I like sharing the mat with him, too, especially because we have a curriculum, being on the same page. So a lot of times I really need to check in with him. Like my confidence teaching is still, sometimes I'm very unsure of myself, especially because our students will mom and dad us. Like Hillary said this, well, Nelson said this. And then it's kind of funny when we talk about it, but then we have to check ourselves. Are they confused on something?
Yeah, I remember.
Is it hurting their evolution? Is it hurting their learning experience? So being able to be there together too has always been important.
Yeah. The mom and dad thing is funny. I remember one of our white belts, like I was teaching a side control scape. I was talking about side control scape details, and then he's raised his hand. He's like, oh, but Hillary said this. And it didn't really make sense. So I was like, I don't think Hillary said that. He's like, yeah, Hillary said that. And I was like, okay, I'll check in with Hillary, okay? Just listen to, like, I'm here now. This is what we're doing. Just getting everybody back on track. And then I went home and I was like, Hillary, so this guy said you said this about side control scapes. And she's like, last time I saw that guy, we were working on mountscapes. So I don't think he remembers.
Yeah, he was just confused. Sometimes they are just confused. So
yeah,
at least we can go home and talk about it. So that's.
How has your coaching and teaching changed over the years since you guys started? Because we talked about, you're not big on drilling as we used to back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I started coaching very early in my belt career. So I was kind of like emulating what I've been around to. So I was not rocking the boat. I was kind of like on that formula. I was like, we're going to warm up for half an hour. We have the technique for half an hour. And then we're going to spar for half an hour. That's a 90-minute class. Like the classic, like running around, line drill, hipscaping here, hipscaping the other way, all that good stuff, right? And then the more I got into it, and then I was training a lot of from white to black belt. I was training twice a day, most days. And then at one point, as like purple belt, brown belt, I just remember being like, man, I cannot do one more hipscape. I really don't want to hipscape up and down the mat anymore, right? I think I still did that for a long time. And then when we opened the academy, I started changing the way we did things. And then just having a realization that a lot of just what is the most efficient way? Like, I'm not there to get you in shape. So like I remember training like certain gyms, especially like MMA gyms. For some reason, they're always trying to like make you do like more push-ups and like more jumping jacks or like crunches. And I was like, man, like I train twice a day. It's like I don't need to do like 2,000 jumping jacks today, right? I just like, can we please just work on technique? Let's get some rounds in. Like this is killing me. So when we opened the academy, like I remember like just going over like all those experiences with Hillary, and just agreeing, it's like, man, like just if we're gonna start, if we're gonna warm up, if there's really a need to warm up, let's just warm up with jiu-jitsu. Like I don't think we need to do all this other stuff. And we did that for a while, and now I think just being open and being ready to change the way things are done, change the way you structure your class is important, because a lot of people are kind of afraid of it. There's almost like, whoa, it's like, it's a really jiu-jitsu class. We're not hipscaping.
Am I missing something?
Am I missing something? So we're like, okay, like, we're running the show now. Like we own the gym. We're the head instructors. Like, let's see what happens. So we did that. And then we jumped on the newer, like ecological. We were doing some game-based stuff since the beginning, but not all the time. We're still doing some drilling. And the games were not necessarily ecological or like constraints-led approach, but it was kind of like heading in that direction. And then there was resistance, and there was like, we're like very clear on the intention of the game. We just not necessarily had enough tasks or constraints to make it CLA. So we jumped on the CLA train at this point, probably 2 years ago. And I grabbed all my, I think, brown and purple belts at the time, and grabbed Hillary, and I like sat everybody down. I was like, hey, I think some of you know about this. Kivan had come to my school and taught a class. Like it was like all CLA. Some of you were asking about this. We're thinking about doing it. If we do it, we have to give it a chance. So if you guys are okay with it, we're gonna switch completely over, change the way we structure every class for a year. If a year from now we don't like things are going, we can go back. Is everybody on board with this? And then got like approval from like all the upper belts. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's do it. So I have been like, looking into the research, like reading the books, listening to the podcasts, looking up games, and then like just figuring out like game design. And then we were part of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Globetrotters. So a few of the coaches have been doing the same thing. And Preet Mikkelsen and Francesco Ponte put a workshop together, like a weekend thing in Florence, in Italy. So I went to Italy and I spent the weekend with these guys, like a few other coaches there, and like really got to talk about this and listen to them and like play a bunch of games from like different coaches, see how they structure things, and then just took all the notes that I could. And then like, Preet has been to my academy a few times. I got to train with Preet over the years. So I got a lot of feedback from these people, and then started working on this. And then like, I would check in with Kivan, I would check in with Preet. And the first 6 months was kind of a lot of figuring out. Like sometimes I would design things and then didn't really work. And then like, a lot of times it made me realize like maybe I didn't understand this position as well as I thought I did. But like, now 2 years later, I'm much more comfortable. I think like any of my jiu-jitsu, like any jiu-jitsu position that we work on, I'm very comfortable, like, breaking it down into games and like understanding why it works and why it doesn't work, and like what we need to work on to get better at it. And it's been amazing. I say this all the time, like the current batch of white belts and blue belts that have started since we started doing this, some like, the eco babies, like they have never drilled a single day in their life, are the best white belts and blue belts I've ever had. It's the progress they make in that year or two that it cannot be compared to the way, I've been coaching since 2009. So that's 16 years of coaching at this point. Mm-hmm. None of the people I coached in the last 16 years compares to this crop of guys and girls. It's amazing. And like, I am surprised by it constantly. So we like, even we have like a few kids, college kids. So one was fairly active. The other one has never really done sports before. Both of them been training with us for almost 2 months now, and they look like jiu-jitsu players. Like they move, like the hips cape, like they understand, like, you know, like leg pummeling a little bit. They're like looking for underhooks. They understand guard passing, like getting to the outside, getting chest pressure, chest to chest connection, chest to back connection. They know how to chase the back. And it's like 2 months, right? Before, it took a long time for people to understand these things. Before, like, you could get people to like learn moves, right? But it was like they had like this game where you could see there were gaps in it because they knew there's one thing from here, and then there's this other thing from over here, and it was really hard for them to connect the dots. But now all we're doing is connecting dots and just presenting problems for them to solve.
Nelson, who gave you a black belt?
So I got my black belt from Kevin Sheridan and Fabio Clemente. I believe Kevin.
Yes, I actually remember that day.
Yeah, Kevin. I believe Kevin didn't have 2 degrees yet. I think he had been a black belt for like a year or
Happened
two.
at Fabio Academy?
No, Fabio actually came.
Fabio came to
Fabio came. Yeah, it's one of those rare occasions we got Fabio out to New Jersey.
Kevin is good people. Hillary, I had a question for you. So you trained under top level coaches such as Saulo and Shanji Ribeiro, Andre Galvao when you spent your time on the West Coast. And then you competed a lot, winning both gi and no gi at Worlds, as well as many other tournaments, and you've been part of various organizations competing and reffing. What do you feel like brought you more joy back then? Competing, just kind of being part of the sport, training, or actually reffing?
Being a part of the sport, but I did like being involved as a ref. It was always important to me. Excuse me. I think just being like, I saw all the other female examples. It was very fortunate. Like when I was at Solomon Shanji's school, University of Jiu Jitsu, it was very new, and all the people that were coming through, like
It was new for you, or new as a school in general?
it was new as a school. I was already a blue belt under Alex Brito, who was like my closer school. Like when I lived in Pennsylvania, I would kind of split my time between there and going to Fabio Clemente school. But yeah, so when I moved out west, I moved out west for work. I couldn't get a real job here on the East Coast. It was very competitive, and so I started looking out west, and sure enough, it kind of guided me that way. And then I had trouble actually deciding on a school. Most of the schools were so packed. I think they raised their rates to discourage me from joining because their baths were like way too full. I remember talking to Marcelo Garcia, and he was like, well, I heard Saul and Shanji are moving out west. They're moving out of Ohio. Train with them if you can. I was like, oh. And here I was already training at a judo school, a judo club, San Diego Judo Club, when Shanji walked through the door, I guess, to check out the gym, wearing a green belt in judo. And I knew who he was, but I don't think any of the other judo players knew who he was. And he was just tossing people. And I guess sure enough, like they were looking to move a location. Him and his brother were looking for a new gym, and it worked out great that I was kind of already there. They were very welcoming, trying to get a new student base. And yeah, I just love being a part of that and seeing the school grow and everyone that came through. Leticia Ribeiro came. It was when like Beatrice Mosquita and Mackenzie Dern were still teenagers. I remember when Regis Libre moved to town. Mikey Liera was still a teenager. I got some really
Nice.
awesome connections and training living out there. And then work, because I still had my regular job. And I think things were getting a little too crowded at the school is what, when Andre Galvao moved to town, I kind of gravitated towards his school because Shaji moved to LA. It just became very hard. Like they were splitting from Gracie Humaita, becoming their own thing. Leticia was like, you can't really train with me anymore. And I don't know, lots of politics, right? So again, I wasn't even sure if I was going to train anymore. But then I met Angelica Galvao, found an awesome training partner in her, and felt like I could start fresh again. And I was already a brown belt at the time and wasn't even sure if I really cared about competing at that point anymore. It was just about the community, just being able to do what I loved. It didn't matter the competition. It just mattered being able to be on the mats and move and do what I could do with my body. And yeah, then lost my job, moved back east and reconnected with Fabio, met Nelson. Yeah. It's
I'm
been
sure
quite a
reffing
journey.
helped too, right? Because
The
reffing,
reffing, yeah. So the back to the reffing and being able to ref like for Grapplers Quest, again, just kept me on the mats. I wanted to still give a good experience to other competitors because I've experienced good refs, experienced bad refs, experienced both good and bad competition experiences. And just if I could do my part to make a competition something more enjoyable for one other person, or just even as a female presence, you know, I want it. It really, yeah. I think just doing my part, I guess.
oh, that's awesome. I've reffed before, obviously not as much as you did. It's not an easy task, you know.
No,
You
and
know,
it's a long day.
yeah, long day, and I'm not saying that sub only is easier or harder versus points. It's just, you know, you're watching kids and you have the rule sets for kids, and you sometimes could stop prior to verbal or physical tap. It's a lot of stress, and you got to be on point.
It is, and yeah, I'd rather stop a match too early than too late. And that's the thing. Like, if I know I can give somebody a safe, exciting experience, a fair experience, you know, that means the world. So, I don't always have the time to do it anymore. And yeah, if only Brian Simmons would start again, right?
Oh my goodness. I remember the last
We'll still do a TCO.
last time we did a Grapplers Quest, I think we were reffing until 2 a.m. And I remember like that was the day I was like, never again. I'm hanging up my reffing shirt.
Yeah.
I think we did it. I think John was in a bind one time and we ended up like having to helping out a tap cancer out. And then there were still people like arguing constantly. He's like, dude, my man, this is not Mundials. It's a charity tournament somewhere in Connecticut. It's like, it's okay. Please, just calm down. I'm volunteering, man. I'm not even getting paid. Like, just chill out.
Yeah, John is good people. I like competing on his event.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. What legacy would you guys want to leave as individuals and as obviously being the business owners?
Damn.
If
Deep
people like
questions.
look back at the time and they're like Hillary and Nelson, aka inverted gear, inverted panda, right? Because by now, those two names of your business, which is really one, and your names together, they're associated.
Yes.
So
I remember going to the funeral of my judo coach. He ran Cranford Judo Club for a long time. He was one of the Olympic coaches for the U.S. a few times. He was, I think, when he passed away, 9th or 10th dan in judo. He was a big deal. And but like, you know, everybody at the funeral just remember Yanni and like how funny he was and how he knew everyone and how he just took time to like know you and be like a presence in your life and be your coach and like, you know, all this good stuff. But I think that a lot about that a lot when like, you know, like now we have an academy and like I'm there, like, you know, you're paying me to make you better at jiu-jitsu, but at the same time, like, you know, I really want to care for the guys at our academy and the girls, right? So like I teach with the same enthusiasm if there's 50 people on the mat or there's 2 people on the mat. I run over time constantly because I'm answering questions. I probably coach like more weekends a year than we should sometimes. It's like we try to like now we're older and we have kids and stuff, right? So I can be 20-year-old Nelson and be like, you know, random tournament in New Jersey, like random Naga or Grappling Industries or Good Fight or whatever, all over the place. So we really try to we have a core group of guys that like to compete, and then we just sit down with them. I was like, okay, look, if you want to compete, there's tap cancer out in November. We really like Jiu Jitsu World League. I was like, you want a smaller tournament, Jiu Jitsu World League in Trenton. Is like very organized. It's good reffing. They run on time. Let's do those. If you need more than, if you want to go like, a little bit more advanced, it's like, let's do a New Jersey Open. Let's do the New York Open. If you guys really want to go for it, like, the older guys, we can go to Master Worlds. We can go to Pans. We need to know in advance so we can like book tickets on the whole thing. And then I'll be there for you. I will coach you. I will get you through the bullpen, the whole thing. So I really like, besides the competition guys, I really want to be there for our guys, like anytime or something has happened, like, one of our guys broke an arm, one of our guys had a heart attack. I want to be the kind of coach that will go see you at the hospital. And I want like, we joke around, we have this sleep training book for newborns that we love and like really helped us. So every time somebody at the gym has a baby, I'm like, the first thing I do is, hey, you want some unsolicited advice? It's like, sure. It's like, read this book, please. Like change your life. And I think like that's the kind of legacy that I want. Mm-hmm. Like the last thing I want people to say about me when I die is like, oh man, he was a really tough role. He used to kick my ass all the time. It's like, even if I do that now, it's more important to me that people remember me as a good person. And it's definitely more important that my kids remember me that way. Not as a good competitor, not as a tough role, not as an instructor, just as a good human. I think that's what I want my legacy to be.
Beautiful.
I like that. Although I do like having a little bit of a reputation as an enforcer.
Yes, Killer is like, people need to know I'm still a honey badger.
I guess that, yeah, even though I'm in my 40s, I still got it. No, but that I will always give to my team. I will always give to my sport. That it's a family first at our school. It's family first for me as a mom. And that's why I hate sometimes like how I wish I could be in two places at once. Like with my kids, with my family, but also with my jiu-jitsu family, and how much, especially the women, especially with now, like we have like some teenage girls, and just, I always want to be that example that other women were for me. That I want people to look at me and see that I still have something to offer. Like, I love this thing I just saw, like Fionn Davies post about, I guess, her interview, and just that you might not be able to kick everyone's butt in the room, but that, hey, like, I still have a perspective on this. I've gave everything I had to the sport for now, like half my life, and I still love it. And I want to be an example for not just the girls, but like other people, other moms, other people who have to work and split their time. And you can still do this no matter how much you're there or not. Like, you still have someone who is there thinking of you no matter what's going on in your life. So
I will tell you, we talked about ecological training before. I'll switch up the topic to a brighter note. And, we came up through the years where you had to do 15, 20-minute warm-ups during Pan Am, Pan No Gi times especially. We had so much of like Ecuadorian team. You mentioned Sinistra. Everybody... Thomas Orzun, I actually saw him recently, and when Fabio was really pushing us, it sometimes came off so mean, but I mean, it worked out the best for us.
Poha, man. Poha.
But it was a hot room. But now my son is 18 and a half. He's kind of getting back into it. We do training at least once a week. This is like, I'm not pushing him. I'm happy that he's slowly getting into it, finding the time, and then this class is everywhere. So to your perspective on doing more ecological training, I'm almost afraid that he might miss on what I have learned, the proper, not a proper way, but that hardcore warm-ups where you're like, man, This was tough, right? And at the same time, I don't want him to get lost, especially if I'm not in the room with him as a beginner in the room with one or two teachers, and 25, 30 students, and him doing something wrong on his partner. So to Hillary's point, it's so important to live and learn through your life, feel certain mistakes being made even sometimes by our coaches, right? Because it didn't like sit right with us, or you wish they were there to kind of fix that note right then and there, but it didn't happen. So it took years for you to realize that this is the way things should be done. I want to make it easier for my kids so they don't make the same mistakes as I did. And I want them to concentrate on things other than just living through those mistakes, even though it's important sometimes to have those moments, right, of realization. So I think it's very it's very human like of you, both of you, but especially Hillary mentioned, giving so much back to women and creating more safe space and comfortable environment for girls, because there's a lot of girls training now compared to back in the days, but it takes pioneers of jiu-jitsu such as you, and especially those that you came up under, to kind of create that environment for them.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just a certain time where a lot of us who were training at the same time we were the only person, and we had to, a person like us anyway, who had to really even if no one told me, I had to earn the respect to be there. It always felt like you had to earn your spot to even be here to share these mats with the rest of them. And it doesn't have to be like that anymore. You want to be here, we want you here. And there's no, you have to get through this to stay here, So making sure, people don't ever feel that way at our gym. That whether they compete or not, especially because not everyone is in their 20s at our gym. Like, they're there for people are all there for probably one reason or another, and it's not always the same reason as I did it when I started. And you shouldn't have to feel like you have to compete to just share a class.
I have a training partner. He's recently brown belt. So strong, physically. And I'm like, how you not competing? And he's always saying, like, my priorities are different. And he gives me like a million different reasons, which I understand. But I also feel like, man, if I was him, I would be like all over the mat competing every weekend. But that's his life, and you don't have to compete, but I also feel like he would be really good at it. That's my perspective on him not competing yet.
Man, I remember a very big and strong white belt, Mike Kalika. I remember Fabio going, hey, Nelson, porra. go with a big white belt.
That was so clumsy. Yeah, I'm so happy we came up together, knowing Fabio, knowing Kevin.
Yeah.
Remember Bobzilla?
Bobzilla.
Yeah,
I feel like jiu-jitsu is just puts you in this place where you get to meet all these people. Mm-hmm. And then I think that community we came up, I met Kevin, and then Kevin brought me to Fabio's once, and then came to Fabio's again, and then Fabio kept inviting me to come back. So I would drive and take a pad train and then walk a few blocks to train there. And it was this funny little community. What was the neighborhood? Like the Village was great. Where was
the one?
Where was this
Third and
there. What was the name of the neighborhood?
But it was East Village.
These days, East Village, right? So you had this combination of guys that lived in the village, or guys that would drive from outside to come there, plus all the NYU kids. And then it was such a cool gym because it was it had been there for so many years. So there was so many members, and just all these personalities.
Talent.
Not only this personalities, but the amount of talent is there was all these guys that were winning belt color world championships. There was these amazing black belts that were there. Some of them don't even competed, but they were like, like as a young, like purple and brown belt, I would go there and then like, just I had to be ready. I had to, because like, it was very high pace. Everybody was like super technical. And there was like an expectation is like, hey, like, especially like I think the noon class.
Yeah.
If you were there for noon class,
windows closed.
yeah, it was gonna be hot, and it like I remember in this one summer, and it was just so hot, and then we were doing groups of 3, and it was like me, Lucas, and like somebody else had just won worlds, and I remember like just getting my ass handed to me, and then like it was towards the end, I had like one more round with Lucas to go, and I started cramping, and like my whole legs like cramped up. And then like the timer goes, and then I'm trying to like stretch it out. And I'm like trying to like ask Lucas to give me a minute. He's like, no. It's like, come here. I have to like just roll with Lucas like on one leg. Not that it would make a difference, but at the time I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Good times. Guys, let's get back to your brand for a minute or two. Have you ever felt copied, and how did you deal with that? Mentally, professionally?
I mean, I remember like we made some shirts that had like the word bear in bolo, but spelled with like bear in bolo. Mm-hmm. And then like I remember like somebody took that and like put like a panda on it too, and I was like, oh come on, man. It was like a little too on the nose. Or there was I remember like there was like a panda gi company out for a little bit. But if you typed up Panda Gi Company or like search engine listing was always ahead of theirs, even though their name was actually Panda Gi Company or something like that. And I mean, I never anything.
Do you remember we made those T-shirts and then someone
yes
blatantly copied and made rash guard?
A factory in China stole one of our designs and put it on a rash guard for somebody. And it was funny. It was like this poor guy posted this on his Facebook, and then somebody just started tagging me and Hillary and Inverted Gear, and then like all our friends and like all these people that wore panda gis were just like blasted this poor guy. Like, oh, he's like, you are a thief. You're stealing from Inverted Gear. They're so like, how dare you, blah blah blah. And then the guy like, a few hours later finally comes on. He's like, I have no idea what's going on. It's like the factory gave me this design. I'd never seen it before. I didn't know it was stolen. Like reached out to me. I was like, hey, give me your address. And then like he shipped me a box, like all the rash guards he had. Mm-hmm. Like I think they're still in my office bouncing around somewhere.
Yeah, I think the box is still like, because we have a shelving with a lot of like samples and things that probably never even went to production.
Yeah.
But that's I guess what I was going to get at was it seems like the community, because we've been around for so long now, kind of fixes itself. Because there was always going to be a panda something or other.
Yeah, like I remember like one time
they still think
like Hillary designed a gi, and it was black and it had like light blue and it was like a light weave, so she put a cloud on it. And then they're like, oh, you're copying Show Your Roll, Blue Skies or Light Skies or something. I was like,
I had no idea.
And we're like, dude, like this.
I was thinking it was like our first light version. Like we always had a 550, just standard classic, whatever panda. So this is my first ski design, came from my heart, from my mind, and it just, cloud. That's all it was. But yeah, everyone kept finding some sort of
so like some short little fanboys were coming after us. I was like, man, it's not like I'm making a knockoff. Like this is my brand. At this point, Show Your Roll has been around for like 6, 7, 8 years. They've made maybe they've made like so many color combinations at this point. Like somebody's gonna do something similar now.
The same color. I think it was just called their gi was called the Cloud. But it wasn't even.
It was a similar blue. It wasn't even the same shade of blue, but it was like
similar enough. People found a way to compare.
So like it goes both ways. Like we done stuff. They're like, oh, you're copying this guy. I was like, dude, like,
just like we already had whatever bamboo logo.
Yeah,
and people found it to look like somebody else's.
Yeah, it's always in some nonsense.
It was something, I guess. But
so it goes both ways. Like we done stuff, and like then people have have done something similar, but then at the same time we done stuff, and then other brands have done something similar. But like what I tell people now is like, the amount of design space, the amount of things you can change from gi to gi is very limited. Especially now with like the new rules. If you want to make a competition gi, the amount of things you can do to make your gi stand out from somebody else is not that big. So like, a lot of the gis are gonna look very similar because they have really constrained the amount of design space we have. So it's gonna happen more and more.
How do you guys deal with the creative disagreements? I mean, you're doing well now on the podcast, but what happens at home?
Jiu Jitsu match, IVGF rules. I cut weight and then Kelly bulks up, so it's closer. Yes.
Flex. No, it's nice. I feel they're very few and far between. I worked in the print industry for a long time before working with Nelson, and there were always so many spoons in the pot. And it's nice just to be able, usually it always starts between me and him. If we need other opinions, we have the few people we can talk to. And there's a good feedback chain that I think we can work through.
So the creative process a lot of times is I have an idea and then Hillary makes it better.
Oh,
So sweet. First design you mentioned, it was Panda Nation, right? You did a T-shirt.
well, he had already been using Panda Nation as main a hashtag.
Back when hashtags
Tagline, yeah, when hashtags
were a thing.
were a very important thing, and so yeah, it was a patch.
Do you have something on you that you can show maybe how it looked back in the days?
So this is very special. I think this was one of the first Academy gis you made, right?
This was the gi we did for Fabio. It's got the square guy. But yeah, very
Let me
special.
move the mic a little bit so people could see.
Oh,
So a lot of usually people come to us if they want an inverted gear design. They want the panda. I will always check if you want the panda, but usually they do. So I try to incorporate it.
I like that this one has a skyline.
Yeah, this was fun because we had like the Brazilian colors. It was very nice and colorful.
Yeah, very
It's got
very
the
colorful.
NYC.
Yeah, love it. I have this piece.
Yeah.
This was like a limited batch, right? Obviously.
Yes. We made that badge for Fabio, and then we dropped it off, and I think we made a bunch of belts for him too. They were like
I competed in this specifically at Long Island Pride with Alex Churnashvili coaching me.
That's funny.
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures with Alex and me in this game.
Yeah, we have that, and then this rash guard this says Fuerza Mexico in the front, and our friends live in Oaxaca, Mexico. We had gone to a camp there, and then a few years back now, I'm trying to think how long ago this was. There was a pretty big earthquake, so there was a lot of relief efforts. So we wanted to do a fundraiser, specifically for that area of Mexico, because there was this big earthquake in the south of Mexico, like the poorer part, and then there was this earthquake in Mexico City. So a lot of the relief efforts were towards the earthquake victims in the capital. And a lot of people kind of forgot about what was going on in southern Mexico, where we have friends. So Brad Wolfson from Soulcraft Jiu Jitsu, I think, had put together this like seminar. So a bunch of black belts came out to Connecticut. We taught, we put money together, and then we started talking about making some merch. One of Brad's students is actually a comic book artist, so he drew the luchador in the back, and I am blanking out on his name right now, but as you can see, he's super talented.
Yeah.
And yeah, me and Brad are a fan of like old Mexican movies where El Santo and other like famous wrestlers were like the movie stars. So we found a bunch of like old movie posters for inspiration, like send them to this guy. And I was like, we want a luchador, like a post kind of like this. It was like, lifting people out of the rubble. And then like 2 days later we had that. He already set it up for the rash guard. And then like, we sold those online, and then all the proceeds went to earthquake relief in southern Mexico. So it was a really cool project.
Very nice. The reason I'm like, I used to wear inverted gear stuff. I am at the point where I'm making tiny batches of t-shirts and rash guards, as of recently, rash guards. And I just, that's why I'm feeling the material, because you try on. I have a lot of rash guards at home to the point where 90% of them I'm not even getting to by the time I've washed the ones that I just rotated between me and my son. And it's really good material. I like the stretchiness, and this is medium, by the way. I think I might try one for size after the show just to know.
Check in.
Yeah. Guys, I want to go to a couple of Blitz questions. You can answer them both one after another. So let's go with the first one. City life or jungle retreat? Hillary, you can go first.
Jungle retreat.
Yeah, jungle retreat. I don't like big cities.
What is your spirit animal?
The griffin.
Panda.
Of course. I see. I couldn't take panda, so
Honey badger.
honey badger. Oh, that's a. Yeah.
There's a Jiu Jitsu academy in Vegas. Anthony owns a school, Honey Badger.
Oh, I know.
Well,
That's
it's
amazing.
his Instagram name, but it's he's been having that nickname / name for years. Your go-to karaoke song?
I don't sing.
Nothing to think. No, nothing. Nada.
It's okay. It could be nothing.
Let me. Probably something from the Spice Girls.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Mm.
Some Mexican song probably. I sing better in Spanish. So the Stereo maybe.
This week we lost a great artist, right, Ozzy?
Yes.
We lost a lot of great people this week, but I listened to a lot of Ozzy when I was growing up in Russia. Actually, on the way home from work, a lot of rock radio stations were playing his songs, like even songs that I haven't heard in years when he was with Black Sabbath. Sorry, a little off topic, just.
That's okay. We've been rocking the Crazy Train playlist all week. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Favorite smell from childhood?
Favorite
Fresh baked bread.
smell? Yeah. The smell of the rain. Like right before it rains in the summer. Yeah. It's in the air.
Something weird you always carry on you? No. Ernest is laughing because he knows my beginning questions were... I mean, I try to spice it up, but...
This one's better.
Something. I don't think it's that weird. I always try to keep chapstick with me.
That's important.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I never carry anything.
Yeah, empty pockets?
Empty pockets all the time. Sometimes not even I'm supposed to carry my phone and my wallet. That's about it.
You got your watch in you. That counts. If you were a movie, what genre would you be?
Thriller.
Horror.
What is something you once hated and now love?
Something I hated, but now love.
Didn't like, maybe. Maybe hated is a strong
I
word.
think I found a new love for lifting. I used to always hate it. Like I used to think that I just had to do it if I was going to be strong enough to do jujitsu. But now it's like I actually enjoy, and it took a grind to get there, but enjoy actually to lift heavy. I thought like you had to just go and do like 10, 12 reps and it more like a repeated motion. But now it's actually finding a new love for being stronger and lifting heavy.
Hillary's moving weights
So,
out here.
yes, I'm moving that metal.
We
Yes.
run out of plates at the home gym.
No.
long, steady cardio, especially as I get older. Trying to keep the ticker healthy. I never liked it growing up, and now I am finding finding more joy in it. Putting a podcast on, and kind of like zoning out. It's almost like meditation. Especially I do most of my stuff either on a bike or a rower. So it's kind of just getting a rhythm and listening to a book on tape or a podcast for 45 minutes, an hour.
Fabio is big on rowing and
Yes.
proper
Yes.
posture.
Yes. Fabio is hilarious. Was whenever I got really into rowing, when Hillary was pregnant with her first baby, we got her first rower. So I was like training on a lot, and then like here and there I'll post like, oh, like, I got a new personal best on the 5K or the 10K or whatever. And then as soon as I would do that, Fabio would jump on the rower, beat my time, and send me a picture. He's like, oh man, still got you.
Oh my God.
He's a pro at this.
Yes. I was like, you also 6'5", Fabio? I'm like 5'10".
Stroke.
I was like, one of your strokes is like 5 of mine.
Yeah, he's big on the chain, not jiggling.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's locked in. He's locked in.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Like every time I remember like, because there was always a rower at the gym.
Yeah.
And then anytime anybody went on it, he's like a hawk. He's watching them. And then like as the moment they got sloppy, he's like, oh, he had to go over there and give his spiel for 5 minutes. And
He wants
Robert
certain
technique.
numbers to be above, like
the
reps per
yeah,
second.
like the stroke rate,
Yeah.
strokes per minute.
Have you ever made and loved a design but nobody bought it?
Ooh, yeah, that happens. I mean, I wouldn't say nobody bought it, but there's things that we've done, like t-shirts, or maybe we're like, oh, this key's gonna sell really well, so you order more of that versus another one, and then the one you order the least of sells the most. Or sometimes happens where like, I think this size would do really well. You order like a bunch of one size and like those don't sell. You're like, oh man, like what is happening? It happens all the time.
What happens to that stuff? I mean,
So one of the things we do is every so often we'll do like a mystery sale, and then you get 2 items for the price of one, kind of thing. So then we don't make that many T-shirts. We make a lot of rash guards, a lot of gis. So a lot of those misfit gis or misfit sizes, for whatever reason, are sitting in the corner of the warehouse. That's how we get rid of that.
by the way, if you got to this part by watching on YouTube, because not everything is going to be posted on Reels, on Instagram, and you're able to leave a comment on YouTube or any of the Reels, Nelson and Hillary are going to pick a winner, whether it's the best, wittiest, funniest original comment or anything else in that nature, and you guys could possibly provide a piece of
Yeah, we'll ship a gi out to you.
Absolutely.
yeah. And if you're not training, this is what we're trying to do, to get non-jiu-jitsu people to start watching jiu-jitsu themed whatever it is, whether it's podcasts, whether it's people kind of motivating you to do it, get into jiu-jitsu, and this amazing people are going to send you guys a product to train in. Thank you to them. Okay. If inverted panda had a smell, what would it be?
Minty fresh.
Minty fresh? Eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus. Ooh, that's a good one too.
Worst jiu-jitsu fashion trend you have seen?
The whole affliction era. Extreme couture, tap out, all that stuff. It wasn't for me. If it's there's people still out there with their not tap out, but the affliction. Those are like affliction.
I had an affliction one.
I remember the tap out shorts. Very, very distinct.
Tap out, I mean, it's across your back, like
Yeah.
it's humongous letters.
I miss the bad boy era, like Balitudo shorts. The bad boy ass and the
That
butt.
boy was nice.
Those were
Fruits and
clips.
vegetables.
Yeah, vitamins and minerals.
Vitamins and minerals.
Vitamins and minerals.
Fruits and vegetables.
That's a Renato Laranja
Yeah.
play. Yes. Uncle Hinach.
What is your creative ritual or superstition?
Leave Hillary alone. Keep the kids out of the office. That's how design work gets done in my house.
That's your ritual.
Yeah, you like whenever Hillary's in the zone, I like do everything possible to keep her in the zone for as long as possible. So I'll bring her snacks. I'll bring her tea, coffee, walk the dog.
Yeah, it's tough for me to. So my ritual before I can start my design process is I usually need to make sure everything is done so I don't get interrupted or distracted. If that is much of a thing, but yeah, making sure. Yeah, there's no messes to be cleaned up. Everybody's fed. Everybody's walked and watered before I can sit down and concentrate.
Amen. Gi or no gi preference?
Gi.
I like both, especially now I've been teaching a no-gi class regularly on Thursdays.
I like nogi sometimes, but
I mean,
like if I think about jiu-jitsu, we have a jacket on.
for me, I do love the gi, but just sometimes it feels like I'm better no gi. So it's a weird dynamic in my head sometimes.
Quick and slicky.
Yep.
Favorite grappler to design for or to be inspired by? Or somebody you can perhaps, that's my next question, is to do a collaboration with, or that you haven't yet.
Mike Kalika.
Oh,
My colleague.
all right.
There you go.
Next.
There we go. Done.
Do you feel like most jiu-jitsu brands are just copying each other?
No, I think everybody has their thing. And then I think that's what's the beautiful thing about it is there's just so many people that do jiu-jitsu now, and then the jiu-jitsu market just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we all have a slice of this pie. There's there's only so many jiu-jitsu sizes, and I think everybody's sizing a lot. Sometimes some big brands are in the same factory, and the sizes might be very similar, but everything's slightly different. So if you find a brand that works for you, and a lot of people have a lot of brand royalty, you bought their stuff, it fits well, you had a good customer service interaction, that's your people now, right? A lot of people just come and every time they need something, they're gonna go through you. Some people like having a bunch of different brands combined together, that's fine. But because everybody's stuff is slightly different, some people like very minimalistic design, some people like the opposite. They like all the patches and all the embroidery and more stuff on the inside of the jacket because there wasn't enough room on the outside of the jacket to put stuff. And that's you, that's awesome. What speaks to you and what makes you happy, that's awesome. That's why
for everybody to go.
so no, it's not for everybody.
Design ideas.
Yeah.
Describe your vibe in 3 emojis.
Your life in 3 emojis?
vibe.
Your
Vibe.
vibe.
Your vibe.
Ooh.
How you vibing?
Panda emoji, panda emoji, panda emoji. Upside down panda emoji. Flick the phone.
Yeah, I'll usually do probably my favorite.
Honey badger.
No. Honey badger.
Honey badger emoji.
Hey Griffin, why? Why?
Honey badger emoji. Lightning bolt, bam.
I have not. I'll use the fire emoji.
Oh, fire emoji.
I use the fist bump, and I use the flex.
Ooh, fire flex. That's a strong combination. Right there.
Top.
That's very Brazilian.
No, I'll use. Excuse me, stop making me laugh. Yeah, I'll use the heart too.
I'm big on that and the heart.
Ooh.
I put a blue heart.
Oh, you got the blue heart.
Blue heart.
Oh.
Because red is very, very personal.
Yeah, that's. But your wife will not see you sending out red hearts to other people.
Yeah, I said blue to both genders.
I said hearts to other girls.
Red is very
It's different for.
Hillary's on Instagram. What?
I'll do the green heart. What do you do?
it's not.
Well, it's a cauliflower. I can never hear.
I said, you better not catch me sending hearts to other girls. You were like,
It's thank you. I appreciate the support, that kind of love. How else you translate that?
Do the hands first. The hands.
Okay, the advanced Korean technique.
So, all right. So, but what is the weirdest message you got from a customer?
Oh, there's been so many.
There's been some good ones.
Let me think about it. Oh, we had somebody like this is a typical one. This actually has happened a few times. We had to shoot a video to show somebody how to put their pants on because they were putting their pants on and then you style them and then it's like these pants are too big. And then we're like, how? Like you're in the side, like, you know, how much do you weigh, how tall you are. You're like in the size chart. I was like, this is weird. So she's like, look, it sends us a picture. Like, see, like the pants, there was all this extra pant around my waist that like they didn't pull the cords.
Oh,
So we had to like shoot a video. I like got on. He's like, please don't be offended, but you're putting the pants on wrong. So I had to show him how to, like, you know, pull the cord at the side to like.
shrinks on the side.
And we never got a response from that. They were just like, oh.
Oh.
Out of wow. Have you ever turned down a collab because it didn't align with your values?
Yes. I mean, collaborations, like sponsorships. There's been a few times where we're like, no, like it's not the vibe.
Just we have to be careful sometimes when if people want a collaboration that they have the rights to use the artwork they're sending us. So people who want, like, we've had some people, they're not trying to do 25 plus skis, they just want one personal and they want to put all these other logos on there. It's like, are these really yours? Do you really have permission? We have to be careful about some stuff like that. Or just, yeah, making sure it still aligns with like our
Yeah. Do you think creativity comes from pain or peace?
Oh, this is a very Russian question.
Very Russian
Oh,
question.
yeah, there's some
This is very
Tolstoy.
Hillary question.
You know what? Some of my best creative thinking happens when I'm sleep deprived. So a little bit of pain there maybe, but it's also like the peace of like the quiet, like when things are quiet and I can hear myself think. So
Not
But when I was putting this together, the question, I wasn't thinking of physical pain. You know, the most
Struggle.
favors.
the struggle
Yeah,
behind,
the struggle, you know.
Well, it's funny, like sometimes when we hear, like if you're wondering why a music artist didn't come out with a new album recently, like, well, I have nothing to write about. I've just been on tour and going through hotels and airports and kind of that's it. So yeah, for me it's mostly peace. I'm not a rage painter.
Beautiful.
I'm not an artist.
What is more what is more important to you, design or message?
I'll let the design department answer this one. Rapid fire.
Yeah, I guess it's mostly design, like making sure it's easy on the eyes. Like I do have a rule and I see a lot of people breaking the rule, but for some reason I can't break the rule, is it has to be easy on the eyes. And I always revert back to like when red and blue are next to each other, especially trying to read the text and how much it hurts your eyes. So how much those colors like conflict with each other, just for example. So if anything, when I'm putting a design together is conflicting, it's like I can't let it pass. Or like maybe it doesn't look conflicting on my screen, but then we get a sample, or I see it on a different screen, or I see it on the phone. Like it might look good on my big monitor, but then when it translates, it needs whatever I'm working on, however, maybe it's an ad that needs to read. Is it getting that message across? Or if it is something like that's going on a t-shirt or on a kimono, is it going to pass like big or small? So yeah,
Especially logo design, I think a lot of times can be like overdone, and then people just want to squeeze too many things into their logo. It's like we need letters, and we need the foundation date, and then we need this, and we need that, and then it's like it's not legible now.
So right, like can it work at its most simplistic form? Like can it first work in black and white? Is it still readable?
Yeah.
And how much does it really need extra to like be communicated? And if it needs too much, then we're losing the
might-
message.
you might-
losing
yeah.
losing the point, and it becomes bad design.
I think also like as a designer from the cheap seats over here is understanding when to stop. Sometimes you can see people just over design. It's like they had it and then they're like, but I'm gonna add this. Oh, and like now I'm gonna change this color. And then like, you know, they get to a version like 5 drafts later that is lesser than the first draft. So sometimes the design needs more work, but sometimes they got there and then they kind of allow themselves to like just do too much.
This is why it's so important to have a partner you trust in life or in business, because creating ideas by yourself and overruling, you know, just kind of putting a stamp on it, it's so easy, right? This is your design, you came up with it, you approve it. But at the same time, there's nobody else to tell you that it's wrong. Like you're saying, you know, too many steps after the original one when you actually had it ready to print. So it's a fine line. Sometimes having an extra person or two in your room to brainstorm versus maybe wrong information being thrown at you and you don't know how to deal with it. How does success look like to you now versus when you have started?
When I started the company because I wanted to be able to work less so I can compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments. Now I work for myself so I can have more time with my kids. And I think that's success, is that we get to spend a lot of time with our kids. And I see people that, like, you know, you just struggle with that, and like they feel bad that they're working so much to make ends meet, and they don't get to spend time with the kids, and like they feel guilty. And we're very fortunate that we like design our life in a way where we get to spend so much time with our kids, especially in the summer when they're out of school, and like, you know, we're with them the whole day, and we get to travel with them, and then we get to bring them to work when we go to the gym, or they sit in the office, or sometimes sit in the office instead of trampling, or like, you know, they're boys, so they trample all over the house while we're trying to get work done sometimes. But I am very thankful that the company's success has led us to a point where we are really able to see our kids grow up.
Beautiful. Well said. Final question, and I want you both to answer it, please. If everything is disappearing tomorrow, what part of your journey you are most grateful for?
Tilly's like,
So hard. Oh my god.
she's like rapid fire, he said.
I did say that, right?
I thought it was gonna be like blue, red.
Yeah. Just how happy our house is, whether we're home, how happy our house is at the gym, just pretty much the happiness I feel like we've created. I feel like there's still more to do, but I would still be happy if things were gone tomorrow.
Yeah, like Kelly said, like our family, both immediate family, or 2 little humans that we created, and this little dog that we rescued,
Fuzzy little sock.
and how they're like very happy boys, and like, you know, it just makes my day, especially when they're getting along and not trying to fight. But you know, they're the little baby boys, so it comes with the territory. And I think our academy's been open for almost 4 years now, and we have built this amazing community, and it's something that we missed. We had our when like in New Jersey, the core group of guys that I trained at the North Plainfield School, like Kevin's. And then, like, you know, we talked about like my New York family, or like the core group of guys from Fabio's that I stayed in touch over the years. And then when we moved to Pennsylvania, we bounced around different schools, and like you just didn't have that. Didn't have that community, that jiu-jitsu community, and like, you know, the jiu-jitsu friends and training partners and instructors that you looked up to. And We got tired of looking for it, so we built it. So we started the gym almost 4 years ago now, and it took a lot of time and effort. But now it's the gym runs without us there. I think our instructors, we were busy this morning, so somebody taught the morning classes. We're coming to New York today. Somebody taught the kids class. I think there was 3 or 4 instructors for the kids class. Somebody covered the 6 p.m. Then I think we had 20 people on the mat for rounds at 7. And I got a message. It's like, hey, we signed up 2 kids. So we've done a really good job, not only creating community, but creating a community that it kind of now is self-sustaining almost. We still have a lot of input on the curriculum, and we try to be there as much as we can, but we're no longer slaves to it, which is nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to thank you again for making the trip to New York, taking the time from your busy schedule. I feel like I've known you in eternity. We train together. We have similar interests, similar friends around us. So I'm very grateful knowing you guys over the years for your input in Jiu Jitsu as individuals and as a large business Jiu Jitsu company. Everybody that I know speak very highly of you, and I'm proud to call you guys friends. So thank you for making it here and being part of this podcast.
Oh, Mike, thank you for inviting us, and then thank you for just being an awesome friend over the years. Happy to support your project. It's been really cool to see it grow, and much success, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.